Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. I hope you're doing well. Twitch, the ever-popular streaming platform that everyone and their mom is on right now. I'm on it. You can check out a link to our Twitch page down below. Give it a follow. Twitch is in the middle of a bit of controversy right now because of the way DMCAs have been spreading across the platform like wildfire. Thousands of notifications coming in all the time. Some creators are losing years of backlogged streams. Some are losing their channels, while others are confused as to how they're going to find a way forward because the way the DMCA is getting so aggressively enforced on the platform, it creates some situations where some types of content may not be as workable. Be that like a Guitar Hero stream or an IRL stream where somebody might have a piece of music popping up in the background or coming out of a store or something as they're moving along, or maybe even some of these music producers out here who are using a hefty amount of samples in their beats that they're producing live on Twitch. Now, there have been lots of responses from creators on the platform to the ridiculousness of this. Some run as pretty funny and creative, like this individual who is making all Skyrim sounds herself, just with her mouth. It's pretty funny, though, as Twitch says in this blog post over here, there haven't really been that many takedowns in relation to video game sounds, but still, you know, the sentiment is there, and again, quite creative. And again, as I said, IRL streams not doing too well as a result of this, or just generally being made more difficult, and lots of creators across the platform are really kind of making it known that they are not happy with the way things are going as a result of this whole DMCA situation. And as I said, Twitch has addressed this pretty thoroughly in this blog post over here, and they've been doing it on social media too. While some of what's here is a little encouraging, at the end of the day, I'm not seeing anything that will allow creators to continue in the way that they have all of these years. Now, first, let me say, like, all of this is a result of a couple of things. Twitch and the streamers on Twitch have reached this apex of popularity where now copyright holders are looking at the platform and they're using the DMCA to kind of swing their weight around, and they're looking at all of this replayable content on the platform where their copyrighted material is being featured, and they would much rather creators be streaming or hearing that on a streaming service or something where they're actually getting paid, as opposed to what Twitch is doing here. Now, I'm sure to a degree they would also like for Twitch to come together with some kind of a licensing agreement where every time their music gets played on the platform, they're getting paid as well. I'm sure that at the end of the day, copyright holders are open to that sort of thing happening, but it remains to be seen whether or not Twitch is actually interested in creating that type of user experience for people who are consuming on Twitch and are creating on Twitch. And again, as I said, deeper into this piece, it's not looking too great. This situation very much reminds me of the old days of YouTube, because you used to have vloggers who would be out and about and maybe a piece of copyrighted content would pop up via like something playing over a speaker in the background, and then lo and behold, that video could be taken down and so on and so forth. And there was a lot of, you know, unhappiness on the platform as a result of how stringent the whole DMCA situation was. I know I myself used to use copyrighted clips whenever I would do a review, and it would just be like, you know, a couple of seconds of a bit of a song. Look, what we have now on YouTube in terms of like incorporating copyrighted content for fair use purposes, and also on top of that, like the amount of, I guess, layers that you have to the claiming process and the monetization process and the splitting of that, if there is copyrighted content there, that was not there at all. You know, back in the day when I had contacts with YouTube, and this is like 2009 we're talking here, I was told, look, if you keep doing this and it happens a certain amount of times, these DMCA notices, your channel's just going to get deleted. So you really just need to get rid of all the content. You really need to get rid of all the videos. And that's essentially what I did. I mean, I had a decent catalog of videos at the time that I continued past at that point, but I really needed to go back and delete like my entire first year and a half of content completely from the platform. And I completely lost it. It was gone. It was just gone. And you know what? At the time, I can kind of, to a degree, forgive YouTube and forgive the copyright holders because the platform was a relatively new thing and this was a crossroads that we had never been at before. But honestly, I feel like Twitch really has no excuse. Like, this was going to happen at some point. If Twitch continued to grow, which was inevitable due to its obvious popularity and also the fact that was it really ever going to fail or not exist in some capacity? It's literally owned by the richest man in the world. But at this point, it's 2020. The internet is not new. The DMCA is not new. Copyrighted content is not new. Internet content creation and how it ties into that is not new. How did we not put in the work to prevent this from happening? YouTube has done it with Google, which is comparatively a less lucrative company, still like billions and billions of dollars, still lots of money. They managed to do it. How is Twitch not managing to do it? Now, as I said earlier, in this blog post, they try to address the concerns of content creators and explain the DMCA and give everyone as clear an idea as they can as to what's going on. But there is a very disheartening part where it seems like they're not really that interested in doing much to change this. So far, this essentially stands as Twitch's solution to this problem. They want to expand the use of technology to detect copyrighted audio. They want to give people more granular ways to manage their archive instead of just deleting all when it comes to DMCA notifications and copyright turning up in someone's stream, in someone's work. Second, we'll make it easier for you to control what audio from your live streams will show up in your recorded content, which I think is pretty smart. Then third, we need to give you the ability to actually review your allegedly infringing content when you receive a DMCA notification, which is true. That's literally what happens on YouTube. The copyright holders can't just jump in there and rip things down wantonly. There is an agreement and there's a process because sometimes copyright holders and whatever bots are being used to detect the copyrighted content, they get it wrong. Now, finally, here is the disappointing bit to me. Some of you have asked why we don't have a licensing agreement covering any and all uses of recorded music. We are actively speaking with the major record labels about potential approaches to additional licenses that would be appropriate for the Twitch service. That said, the current constructs for licenses that the record labels have with other services, which typically take a cut of revenue from creators for payment to record labels, make less sense for Twitch. The vast majority of our creators don't have recorded music as part of their streams, and the revenue implications to creators of such a deal are substantial. We're open-minded to new structures that could work for Twitch's unique service, but we must be clear that they may take some time to materialize or may not happen at all. So, I mean, really no guarantees there. So, yeah, essentially this blog post doesn't leave us with the greatest amount of hope in the world, but allow me to illustrate some of the, I guess, incentives going on here and what could potentially pan out from this. Now, at the end of the day, copyright holders, they most likely want to strike a deal with Twitch because if they do, then they're going to be paid. They want to be paid. They want to have another revenue stream out there. They know at the end of the day that, like, you know, Katy Perry turning up in some stream isn't like ruining the amount of Katy Perry streams that they get on Spotify or Apple Music. It's not taking money out of their pocket. It's not taking money out of Katy Perry's pocket. Really what they're doing is they're saying this is ours. The law says this is ours, and if you're going to use it, you need to pay us for it. So that's really all that copyright holders are doing. They're using the law that is on their side because of the way copyright law works in America to push Twitch into eventually forging a deal where every single time a copyrighted piece of material turns up on the platform, they're getting paid. They're getting a fraction of a penny. They're getting a something. Now, Twitch, they didn't exactly say it outright. And you know, they sort of said it in a cursory way by saying, hey, you know, these types of monetization structures, they don't work for our platform, and this may never materialize. Twitch doesn't exactly have the greatest amount of incentive to change anything here. And the reason for that being, All the old VODs, all the old content, I mean, unless content creators are asking people to subscribe to watch old stuff, which isn't even the only reason a lot of time that a content creator on Twitch might get a sub. Yeah, that's not really a big deal for them, because it's not like every single time you watch a pre-recorded video or a VOD or whatever that they're getting a penny off of that, a dollar, a nickel, anything. At the end of the day, Twitch would rather you be watching a live stream right now, interacting, throwing in a sub, throwing in bits, so on and so forth. That's where the money's made. That's where they're getting paid. You just watching old shit on Twitch, nobody's getting paid off of that. Now, to illustrate the difference with YouTube, the incentive to do something is there, because if all of YouTube's replayable content, it's pretty much all replayable content for the most part, is being ripped down off the platform left and right because copyrighted material here, copyrighted material there. Well, we got to do something because we literally live off of replayable content. Twitch is more about live content, and the vast majority of these takedowns and DMCA notifications are for replayable content. So again, while I'm sure at the end of the day, copyright holders would be interested in getting on the negotiating table just as they have with other platforms, other social media platforms, I'm not really sure if Twitch is incentivized to do so, because it's not like having copyrighted music playable on the platform is like the lifeblood of Twitch. You know what I mean? As long as people can go on there and play their games and pay for their interactions with whoever it is that's streaming and so on and so forth, that's really what's going to drive cash for them at the end of the day. This could just kind of be a really annoying bump in the progression of the platform that we get over eventually. But yeah, you know what? And the more that I think about it, and this is just something that's popping off the top of my head right now, once more, this is 2020. None of this shit is new. They had to have seen all of this coming. And you would think if they were that interested, like this kind of agreement would have been worked out years ago. But the fact that it's not, and Twitch is not some fucking dog and pony show. Again, they're like the king streaming platform owned by one of the biggest businesses out there, owned by the richest man on the planet. Like, this is an amateur hour. But at the end of the day, if all that Twitch cares about is keeping drama low and maximizing profits, then this may not be something that they're really interested in pursuing. The only real incentives I see is maybe another platform that allows creators to stream with copyrighted content because there is a licensing agreement and people start going over there because, like, well, you know, it's less of a hassle to do this here, so let's go over and do it over here. That, I guess, could potentially incentivize them as well, but that's not necessarily coming on the horizon anytime soon. I know YouTube streaming is a thing, and copyrighted content and DMCAs, like all that shit is pretty much squared away there, but the streaming culture on YouTube isn't quite the same as Twitch, and I think a lot of people go to Twitch for the community, for the culture, for specifically, I guess, the gaming aesthetic that it is all really kind of built around, whereas YouTube can be a bit more of a free-for-all. Or I suppose Twitch could make this change at the end of the day just out of the goodness of their hearts. I really don't know. I really don't know, but it's disheartening to hear and see that there isn't sort of like an easy fix on the way for this. And again, given how Twitch makes its money predominantly, I'm not really seeing an obvious and a clear change coming down the pipe here. And on top of that, I'm not really seeing the will to do it either. But there you go. Those are my thoughts on all of this. Make sure to leave yours down in the comments. Does this disappoint you? Are you a Twitch streamer? Have you had any content taken down? Is this disheartening to you? Let me know. You're the best. Anthony Fantano, Twitch, copyrighted content forever.